So today we have the privilege of hosting our colleagues from ISB Hyderabad. And what we have noticed among the students is there is a lot of awareness about the old business schools which offer 2-year program. But as far as ISB Hyderabad is concerned, we got a sense that our students do lack the awareness, especially those who are aspiring to pursue a 2-year MBA program. The awareness is on the lower side. So we are lucky enough to have Mr. Amit Tyagi with us, who will take us through the information pertaining to ISB Hyderabad. Before I hand over the session to Amit, let me quickly give you a brief background of Mr. Amit Tyagi. So Mr. Amit is a senior associate director at ISB, and he is the program head for admissions for both PGP as well as PGP YL program. Amit has almost 2 decades of experience across sales, marketing, admissions in the education sector in India. And as far as his academic profile is concerned, he did his MBA program from IIM Calcutta. Prior to that, he has done his electrical engineering from NIT Kurukshetra. So Amit will take us through the information pertaining to PGPYL program of ISB Hyderabad. And we will also take up a lot of your questions after the presentation gets done. So during the presentation also feel free to keep sending your questions across to us, and we will answer all of those at the end as such. All right. And I will be host for this particular event. My name is Asim Akhtar, and I'm one of the senior most faculty members at Time. And I have been helping students prepare for CAT for almost 2.5 decades. So without any further ado, let me hand over the proceedings to Amit. So Amit, please take over.
Thank you, Asim. Thank you, Sachin, for having us here on this session. My name is Amit, as Asim has already mentioned. I'm also joined by Andrila Sarkar from ISB. She's the regional manager for South. We'll be interacting a lot with her if in case you choose to go ahead to fill the applications. In today's session, what we'll do is I'll give the maximum time for Q&A and interact with you all. But what we'll do first is I'll take you through a brief presentation which intends to preempt a lot of questions which you all might have. And then we'll take up more questions as and when, once we finish the presentation and interact with you live. So let me start this session by talking first about ISB, what we are, who we, what do we stand for, and so on and so forth. So can we go to the next slide, Andrila? Yeah. So ISB was set up in the year 2001, and when we were setting out to build the school, the idea was to bring in the world's best in terms of management education right here to the heart of India. And when we were being founded, the vision was to be an internationally top-ranked business school right here from the heart of India, to be a research-driven B school and an independent management institution that grooms future leaders, not just for India, but also for the wider world. And with this three-pronged vision, we set out to build what is grown to be one of the world's foremost business schools now. We are now ranked number 5 in Asia as per the latest Financial Times rankings 2025. We are ranked 27 in the world. And we are also ranked number 5 in the world by LinkedIn for as per their study of graduates from all over the world from different B schools. And as per the real world outcomes from our graduates, we are ranked number 5 in the world as per LinkedIn's latest survey. Last year we were 6th, and this year we have improved our ranking to number 5. When we were starting out in the year 2001, the idea was not to reinvent the wheel, but to bring in the world's best in terms of management education right here to the heart of India. And that's when we partnered with Kellogg, Wharton, LBS. Next slide, please, Anila. Partnered with Kellogg, Wharton, LBS, and Fletcher as a partner schools. Kellogg and Wharton were founding partner schools. They helped us build the school in the initial years, and later on, London Business School and Fletcher came on board to also help set up our research practice at ISB. And these 4 are our key alliances in the sense that they don't just give us expertise, but they also have a see of ISB going forward, the future, the vision, the milestones that we achieve, and so on and so forth. Along with these 4 key partner schools or alliances, we also have collaborations with 55 other B schools and universities for research, student exchange, and faculty exchange. We are also one of the few schools to be accredited by the Triple Crown accreditations, which is accreditation by the top 3 agencies, ACSB, Equis, and EMBA. Now, what this does is, this gives you parity with all B school graduates worldwide. whether you choose to work in India, whether you choose to work abroad, Canada, US, Europe, because of a triple crown accreditation, you are at par with B school graduates worldwide. And there are only 110 B schools worldwide to have the accreditation by all three of the top bodies. And we were the youngest on the list and the 100th on the list to have the triple crown accreditation. Now, moving on, let's go to the next slide where we'll talk about the PGP YL program for which we are all here. Now, PGP YL is a program which has been specially designed for people with less years of work experience. This is a program where people can apply with no more than 2 years of work experience. Your work experience as on the class start date, the classes start in June end, and by June 15th, your work experience should not be 2 years, more than 2 years, to be able to apply to this particular program. The duration of this program is 20 months, which start in June and we end by March. And this program is specifically designed for people who are, currently in their undergrad or final years or with less years of work experience, people who are very clear that they want to be in the field of management, they want to build their careers around business, around finance, consulting, marketing, and so on and so forth. And they don't want to wait for 2 years of work experience before they apply to an MBA program. And hence, this program comes in for such people who have clarity at this stage to build their career in terms of management education. And hence, this program is designed with keeping in mind this audience, which will come in with very little work experience. Hence, the curriculum is so designed that it offers a lot of elements of experiential learning to the students in the first year. We intend to impart to a cohort how projects which ensure that you learn about how organizations functions before you take your internships and your final year curriculum, which is a custom elective based curriculum. This program also integrates a lot of elements of tech, data, and analytics, because we believe that managers of tomorrow will be using these three things in their decision making processes when they go out to make their impact in the industry. And hence, every student who graduates from the PGPYL program is comfortable with tech, data, and analytics, along with other skills like people skills and the business concepts. Moving on, let's now talk about uh, uh, okay, we'll skip the videos. Let's now talk about the advantage that this program offers to its cohort. Every program that we design at ISB has certain advantages which we offer to the cohort. And for this particular program per se, we offer three key advantages. The first one is in terms of hacking conventional thinking, or as we call it, building a conceptual knowledge. This program blends essential. Go back, Andrina, please. This program blends essential knowledge of interdisciplinary knowledge of various concepts along with technology, data, and analytics. We have a faculty which is the globally renowned ISB faculty model, which we call the portfolio model of faculty, which will teach this program. And we'll have peers from diverse backgrounds in the classroom to accelerate your learning. Again, the key element of this program is in terms of accelerating your career. People who come to this program are people who are very clear on what they want in terms of their MBA experience. And this program aims to accelerate a career right from the bat. So people who come in with less years of work experience or lower years of work experience can build a career right after their graduation in the areas, preferred areas of management, which they intend to work in. The third advantage is to be a next-gen business leader, which we do through various, experiential learning sessions on the campus. We have two labs we'll talk about. We have student bodies, we have clubs and social projects, which will ensure that you're able to hone your organizational and leadership skill sets through this particular program. Now, let's come to the part where we talk about how we give these advantages to our students. We'll skip this slide because the time is less. We'll go to the curriculum state. Yeah, so the curriculum for this particular program is designed keeping in mind a few things. First is industry-focused learning outcomes, where we ensure that we're able to build strong technical expertise, not just your conceptual knowledge, but also we ensure that you learn about how tech, data, analytics are changing the management landscape in today's organizations. It's a future-focused program. We have interacted with a lot of organizations, our industry partners, to build this program for keeping in mind their needs. And we also leverage a lot of technology in imparting this particular curriculum to the students of this particular program. We, in fact, have set up a separate department called Center for Learning and Teaching Excellence, which ensures that we are able to bring in elements of AI, elements of teaching pedagogies into the classroom where people are able to come to speed about how organizations functions without having real world experience in the classroom. Again, this program is also designed keeping in mind the needs of early career learning professionals, where we ensure that you get an understanding of hands-on application of concepts that you learn through projects, workplace adaptability, concepts of how to work in teams, how to work in corporate environments, and finally, in terms of what roles and industries you're going to work in, clarity and awareness of those things before you make your decisions to, choose careers for yourselves. This program is going to leverage our expertise in terms of a global perspective that the school brings in, the powerful alumni network that we have. We now have 17,000 plus alums across our key degree-like programs, and again, the research-driven curriculum and the world-class faculty that will deliver this curriculum. Now, let's talk specifically about what the curriculum looks like. Let's go to the next slide and look at the curriculum. Before that, let me also talk to you briefly about the faculty model that we have. So at ISB, we have a very unique model of faculty, which we call the portfolio model of faculty in Indian School of Business, where we have 70 teaching and research faculty members who teach diverse subjects and have diverse research interest. But we also, supplement those faculty members with what we call visiting faculty members. And we have a pool of 200 plus visiting faculty members from top universities and B schools worldwide who visit ISB for a complete term and teach a complete course. So they come with a portfolio of their courses from their universities to teach it to our students across the two campuses and go back to their respective universities. So what this does is this gives you access to world's top teaching talent right here in the heart of India. You don't have to go to NYU or Berkeley or MIT Sloan or Carnegie Mellon to learn from faculty members there. Those faculty members come to ISB and teach their courses right here across our two campuses. Moving on, let's now talk about the aspects of curriculum. We'll skip this video in the interest of time. Now, curriculum is designed across, a few key verticals. There are mandatory courses. There's an internship or what we call the experiential component, and the third is a customized learning pathway. In terms of mandatory courses, the first year is fully, a mandatory curriculum where you will study various aspects of working in an organization. You'll have foundational learning where we'll teach you elements of critical thinking, elements of building, your working with data about statistics and so on and so forth. Then there's a complete functional understanding of how a firm operates. And in those elements, in those courses, you'll be learning courses on strategy, marketing, finance, operations, and so on and so forth. The third element is working effectively in organizations. In this particular element, you'll be learning courses in terms of behavioral foundations of workplace, communication, analysis, and so on and so forth. In terms of the experiential element, we have two key projects both in the first year and second year. In the first year, what we have what we call Ideas Lab. A lab is a learning project which we call it. An idea lab is an ideas project is a project where you will be working with an organization. The projects are sourced by the ISB team, and you work for a period of around 2 months on the problem statements given by organization as part of teams. You go to field, collect data, you use data analytics techniques to come to insights and present those insights as actionable solution to the organizations for which you are doing this particular project. The second project which we were doing in the second year is what we call the Pivot project. Pivot is platform for innovation and venture-oriented thinking, which is for people who want to be entrepreneurs or people who want to have entrepreneurial mindsets in their work. And this project is also compulsory for every student as part of this program. And it's again a 2-month project which you'll be doing in the second year as part of your curriculum. Every student undergoes the Pivot and the Ideas Lab. Summer internship is mandatory, and we source this through our placement program at ISB. And as part of the summer internships, you get to work with top organizations who recruit you for a period of 2 months. You undergo a project, and you also get to be part of PPOs or pre-placement interviews as part of this summer internship project. To give you an insight about the placement for summer internships for the first cohort, we had around 175 offers for 130 students that we have as part of the cohort. Top organizations such as MBBs, the tier 1 and tier 2 consulting firms recruited from the cohort. We had marketing companies like HLL, Wakefit, or Dabur and others hiring, as well as investment banking firms like Soin Investments, Axis Bank, and others also hiring from the summer internship process at ISB. The average stipend for 2 months for this summer internships was around 3.2 lakhs for a student as part of the process. Now, the final aspect of the course is what we call a global perspective term. As part of this particular term, you get to go on study treks. You get to have exchange students on the campus, or you yourself can go as an exchange students to the 55 plus partner universities that we have across the world. We'll talk more about it in subsequent slides. Moving on, let's talk about the career pathways that we have for students in the second year. Let's go to the next slide, please. Yeah. So in terms of the second year, I think we have to go back a bit. Yeah, we'll go back a bit. One more slide back. Yeah. In terms of the second year curriculum, you will have, 6 key functional career pathways to choose from, where you will have to take 18 electives from 100 plus electives that we have on offer at ISB. Those electives you can take from across 6 core areas: finance, marketing, operations, strategy, entrepreneurship, and IT. So as part of your career pathways, you can specialize in any of these or more, two career pathways in your second year of your program at PGP or while. Let's go on and look at the pedagogies that we teach. Yeah, next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide. Yeah. So as part of our pedagogies that we teach in the classroom, we at ISB have a case study based method of learning. We supplement that with a lot of other in-class interventions, business simulations, experiential learning in the classrooms, where you have a lot of role plays done by students to in situations. So a classroom at ISB is a very diverse classroom comprising of people from different academic backgrounds with different experiences, which ensures that you learn not just from the faculty member in the class, but also through the experiences of your peers through case discussions in the classroom. Let's move on to the next slide, please. Yeah. Yeah. So this is what the learning journey at ISB PGP YL is summarized. In the first few terms, you will be maximizing your analytical foundations, functional expertise, and leading teams. And finally, in the second year, you'll be going through the customized learning pathways, where you can choose from more than six specializations that we have on offer for PGP YL students. Moving on, let's go to the next slide, please. Yeah. So a bit about the two labs that I talked about. So as part of business in action at IS for this particular program, there are 3 key interventions. First is innovation through design, exploration, experiment solutions, what we call the ideas lab. This is a project which you do on real world problems faced by organizations. You work on this project sourced by ISB teams as part of a group, and find solutions through fieldwork, data crunching, and converting insights into actionable solutions. As part of the mandatory summer internships, you'll be spending at least 2 months in our top organizations, which could be your future recruiters as well in the placement weeks. And finally, for people who want to be entrepreneurs or to integrate entrepreneurial and creative thinking in our students, we have what we call platform for innovation and venture thinking, where we focus on building who are inclined towards entrepreneurship. You will also use this to launch your own businesses through business plan generation, and eventually incubation through our 2 incubation centers on our campuses, the D Labs in Hyderabad and the Atal Incubation Center in Mohali. Moving on, let's go to the next slide and talk about the global exposure that we have. As part of the program, every student at the PGP YL cohort will have an option to do an exchange term at a partner universities. I'm saying option because not everybody will want to go for an exchange opportunity, but we have option for students to study in 50 plus leading universities and business schools. And by the time the current cohort comes in, this number is likely to be more than 80 plus. We have universities from North America, South America, from Europe, HTC Paris, INSEAD, Kellogg, Wharton, to Japan, Korea, and Australia, where you could choose to spend a term and broaden your horizons. The estimated cost for international exchange programs varies between 4 to 6 lakhs, depending upon the country, the destination, and the cost is purely your travel, visa, and your stay expenses at the university. The tuition fees taken care of because it's an exchange program. You take some courses there in lieu of your courses at ISB, and we consider those courses as a completion requirements for PGPYL. Moving on, these are some of our exchange partners. I've given a few names, but some list for you to also glance at. We have Wharton, we have Ivey, we have Kellogg, we have SEEBS. So all the way from North America to Australia, we have schools where you can partner, spend a term or two at PGPYL as a PGPYL student. Moving on, let's go to the next slide. In terms of career and professional development, we do not have a placement team as such. We have what we call career advisory services team or career assistance services team. The CAS team at ISB is a professional placement team. It's unlike student-run teams, and it focuses on three things in terms of ensuring that students are aware of what kind of career pathways they want, grooming those students for those career pathways through workshop and coaching, and also ensuring that we bring those companies on the campus. Currently, the ISB CAS team works with around 1,400 plus organizations in India and abroad. And last year, for the PGP cohort, we had 350 plus students recruiting from our campuses. And for PGP YL as well, all those organizations will be recruiting the students that we have, associations with. And this is done by a professional placement team at ISB, unlike a student-run team from other campuses. Moving on, let's look at the next slide. This is what the academic calendar at the PGPYL looks like. You have 2 years. First year has 3 terms to ensure that you maximize your learning in terms of core courses, your foundational learning journey, your working in teams, your data and analytical learning. And then we also have a summer internship between year 1 and year 2. And year 2 is purely your customized pathways where you will take electives. And we also have elements of block weeks. Block weeks are nothing but a full week where you'll be studying one full course and nothing else. You will take a 20-hour course in 1 week, which is taught not by an IC faculty member, but by an industry expert who's currently working on those topics. For example, somebody from HLL coming and teaching you marketing in practice, somebody from Amazon coming and teaching you operations and sustainability, somebody from the PE world coming and teaching you mergers and acquisitions. So these courses are taught by industry leaders who are currently working on those problems right now in the industry, and they bring their expertise into the classroom through the concept of block week, where they come for 1 week, teach a complete course, evaluate you on those courses, make sure that you learn from them on the current best practices, and then they go back to the industry. So that's the concept of block week. Moving on, let's now talk about some elements of the campus life. So this is what the campus at ISB looks like for the PGPYL cohort. If you look at the gender, 50% of the class is women. Average age of the class is 23 years. Total, if you look at the test scores, CAT average is 99.1 percentile. GR is 327, GMAT is 677. Although we have a huge evaluation process, so even though you see the average percentile is 99.1 for CAT, the minimum percentile was 96.17, the maximum was 99.96. For GMAT focus, 625 was a minimum and 765 was the highest score. GRE 319 to 338 was a range of scores for PGPYL. This shows that it's not just about your test scores, but also about your other parameters that we look at before we select students for our cohorts. In terms of industry diversity, we had people from different industries coming in as part of the cohort. In terms of functional diversities, also we had quite a few functions represented as part of the cohort. This ensures that you have a diversity in the classrooms, which you can learn from, not just from your faculty, but also from the peers in the classroom and outside the classrooms as well. Moving on, let's go and talk about the various initiatives that we have for people on the campus. Yeah, we have seen this. We have discussed this. Let's move on. Yeah, so this is about our alumni network. So alumni network is spread across 17,000 people spread across 60 plus countries and 400 cities worldwide. This ensures that they are able to give you you have access to world's top professional network as part of being an ISB alum once you graduate from the PGP or PGP YL program. 1,000 plus of our alums are either in their family businesses or they're entrepreneurs, and we have 800 plus alums who are at the CXO levels already. Moving on, let's talk about the companies which have come to recruit from ISB year on year. Yeah, let's just go to the next slide. To see some names there. Let's move on. Let's move on. So the PGP YL program is offered currently only in the Hyderabad campus. So Hyderabad campus is a state-of-the-art campus where we are spread across 260 plus acres. You stay on the campus, and as part of the life on campus at ISB, we have a lot of activities on campus beyond the classroom, which ensure that you grow not just professionally but also pursue your passions and you have build your organizational skill sets through student clubs. We have 11 professional clubs, 10 social clubs on the campus currently, and they're separate for PGP, YL, and PGP. We have a graduate student board, which is separate for both PGP and PGP, YL, where you get elected to positions such as president, the council, marketing council, the student life council, and so on, so forth. Moving on, let's now talk quickly about entrepreneurship before we come to the close of this session presentation. Yeah. We'll skip this slide for now. Entrepreneurship. So at ISB, we're very strong on entrepreneurship, and we have two incubation centers as part of our, campus. There are two incubation centers: Atal Incubation Center at Mohali and the D Labs at Hyderabad. So as part of ISB's programs, you have a lot of incubation centers, a lot of programs being ISB students. You get access to programs like iSprout, which is a program which 12-day program which helps you generate ideas for your startups in case you want to eventually start up. Then there's an advanced level program which helps you generate from idea generation to business plan. And finally, in case you want to be an entrepreneur, you can also apply to be incubated by our incubation centers. And if you're incubated, you get office space, mentorship, networking to the ISB ecosystem, and you also get a stipend of 1 lakh rupees per month to sustain yourself while you go about building your startups. And because of our initiatives, we have 750 plus alumni entrepreneurs right now who have gone through the ISB ecosystem. We are ranked number one as in India for our entrepreneurial ecosystem as per the annual PitchBook rankings, and 13 unicorns have been founded and are being run by the ISB alumni currently. Some of them you can see the names: ListSpace, Glance, Boat, Cardeco, Upgrade, and Inmobi. Moving on, let's now look at who can apply to the program in the application process. Yeah, we'll skip this video. So at PGP YL, we're looking for a few for candidates who display a few skill sets or traits. If I look at what do we look for in candidates who apply to PGP YL, we look for any one of these four characteristics: achievement orientation. It could be either through acads or it could be through your extracurriculars or anything in the sports and so on and so forth. We look at lateral thinkers, people who have critical thinking mindset, people who are problem solvers, people who showcase curiosity and creative thinking. And we look at leadership mindset. I say mindset, not leadership per se. Leadership mindset is something which where you are able to communicate with your with the people, where you are able to showcase your ability to inspire and motivate other people to achieve outcomes. And finally, we are looking at people who are innovators or people who have entrepreneurial mindsets, people who have have worked in startups, or people who have have their own startups or publish a research paper or have patents are something which we give great weightage to. So look at this four key things and try and incorporate your essays with evidences which showcase or point towards these things. Moving on, let's quickly talk about the eligibility criteria and how we evaluate candidates. So in terms of the criteria, you need to have a bachelor's degree, a test score, which is a GMAT or a GRE, which is valid, a test interface score, or a CAT score, which is valid as on the deadline date of the round in which you are applying. GMAT and GRE scores are valid for 5 years. CAT is, the current year's CAT score to be required for applying to this year's application. Work weeks of no more than 24 months as on 15th of June in the year in which you intend to join the programs. And in case your undergrad is not in English medium, then you also need a valid TOEFL or IELTS score along with the application process. Now, we follow a very holistic evaluation process for candidates. We don't have a cutoff on any single parameter. What we do is we look at your acads, your activities, your essays, your test scores, and all of them are converted into a profile score. And the cutoff is on the profile score. So what this does is, even if you have a lower GMAT score or if your ACADS are lower, you can always cover that up in other areas of your application. For example, if your ACADS on the lower side, get a higher CAT score or higher test score. If your, let's say, test score is lower, you can always cover up with higher ACADS or clarity in your essays or with your activities and so on and so forth. So that ensures that we have a wide range of people coming into the classroom in terms of test scores, in terms of ACADS, in terms of people from different backgrounds, which adds to the diversity on the campus. Now, the application process is very simple. Round 2 is currently ongoing. Once you submit the application in round 2, the deadline is 22nd of February. We'll verify your application. We'll shortlist you for interview. Once the interview is completed, the committee will review your scores and will notify you of the decision in case you meet the cutoffs for an offer. And if you're also being shortlisted for scholarship, you'll also be called for a scholarship interview once you get an offer. And within a week of your offer, you'll also be notified that you're getting a scholarship. So you can make a decision accordingly to join the program. So this, in short, is the admission process that we have. We'll just quickly talk about the fees and financing and scholarship and close this session. So the fee for the program for the current academic year is 21,65,000 plus GST and an accommodation fee of 3,95,000. The total fee, including accommodation, comes to around 29,65,000 for the 2 years per se. This includes your admission fee, commitment fee, tuition fee, course material, stay on campus, and the ISB alumni service fee. So that's a total cost for the program for 2 years for the PGP YL. We have a lot of scholarships for people and also access to bank loans. We have scholarship across need come merit and diversity scholarships. Roughly 40% of the cohort received scholarships in the first year of the PGPYL, and this year we expect to offer scholarships to around 50% of our students. Roughly around 8 crores worth of scholarships were offered to our students last year for PGPYL alone, and we're looking at a similar number for this year as well. What we look for in scholarship for scholarship criteria is your performance in the ISB selection process. For need come merit, there are two criteria. First is, if your annual family income is less than 8 lakhs per annum, you're guaranteed a tuition fee waiver of either 75% or 100% of tuition fee. If your annual family income is less than 20 lakhs per annum and more than 8 lakhs per annum, then you get tuition fee waivers of up to 75% and minimum of 25% of your tuition fee. So we offer guaranteed tuition fee waivers for people with less than 20 lakhs per annum as part of the need come merit scholarships. So that's about the PGPYL program that I want to talk about. The deadline for round 2 currently in progress is 22nd of February. In case you want to apply, you can apply through CAT, GMAT, or GRE before 22nd of February to be eligible to join in the batch starting in June 2026. So that's all from me. Over to you, Asim. Happy to take questions. Maybe slightly longer than we intended, but I guess this gives a lot of insight to students
Thank
on
you.
the questions. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Amit. That was very valuable information that you have shared. Let me take up some questions that we have received, Amit. So a lot of students who are attending this session, their query is pertaining to the cutoff. So let me explain what exactly they have in mind. So we have shared that the average CAT percentile that was there for the students who got selected was 99 percentile, if I remember correctly. So what they are interested in knowing is, what is the least percentile at which students have received calls, interview calls last year? If you can give them a rough idea about that.
Yeah, sure. So 96.17 was the least percentile in the classroom. Somebody who has received a call and has also converted the call. There are people
Right.
with 95% and above who received a call, I would say. So roughly that could be the benchmark to to expect a call for interview. But again, this varies year on year because we don't have, unlike other B schools, a cutoff on CAT or GMAT or GRE for that matter. The cutoff is on your overall profile score. So if you think you have a stellar profile, you have something really significant in your application, let's say national level achievement or some patents or research per se, do feel free to apply even with a lower score. We'll definitely consider that because the first level of consideration is not your CAT, GMAT, or GRE, it's your overall profile. But 95% and above, percent and above, you have a realistic chance of getting an interview call. In fact, a realistic chance of getting into the classroom as well.
Right.
And I know of people who had 99.8, 99.7, who could not make it to the cohort, even though they had applied or got an interview call. And that it's purely down to the essays and the interview part. We lay a lot of stress on our clarity of thought among our candidates. So if you're applying to PGP, make sure that you have that clarity in the essays, and those will be also discussed in the interviews. Our interview is not a stress interview or a GK based interview. It's purely on your application, your aspiration, and your motivations. As long as you have clarity on that, I think you should be good. I preempted a
Right.
question, I guess. Yeah.
One follow-up question to what we are discussing. I'm not reading the names, by the way, I'm just going by the questions. So, a couple of students have asked a follow-up. They want to know if there is a sectional cutoff also, as far as CAT is concerned. Do they need to do well in every section of CAT?
No, we don't have sectional cutoffs either for CAT or GMAT or GRE.
Okay. The next question I see is somebody is asked that if you apply with both CAT and GMAT scores, what would be the process? Would ISB take best of the two?
We'll take best of the two. Whatever is the best suited to our profile, we'll take that.
Okay. All right. The next question, okay, I think one of the question is there, but I guess you have already covered it. Question was, what kind of support do you offer to people who want to start their own business or startup? I guess that we have already covered, right?
We've already covered, but we have, what we call iVentures at ISB, and a lot of support is given to people who want to do their own businesses or start their own ventures. So ISB is the best place to be if you want to have a startup because of a thriving ecosystem that we have at ISB.
Right. So one of the participants today is a youngster who would be eligible to join ISB in the next batch, that is the 2027 process.
Mhm.
So he wants to know if the eligibility criteria would remain the same for him also.
Yes, it will remain the same.
Okay. One of the students is asking for some kind of inputs on essay writing process. You said essays play a major role. So if you can throw some light, some tips on how to go about doing it, what does the ISB looks for in the essays?
Sure. So essays serve a dual purpose in the evaluation process. One is they're part of your profile score, although the weightage is not that high, but they are also part of your interview process. And in the interview, a lot of your discussion tends to be around essays. So essays, when you write in the application, they're not a test of your language or your the kind of words that you can write in the essays. It's more about a test of your content. So if you look at the prompts, people who have gone through the application portal, if you're not, I'll suggest you do that and look at the prompts. They're designed in such a way to bring out experiences from your life which you think are important for you, and that tells us about your aspirations and motivations. So whenever you write those experiences, keep a few things in mind. Those four boxes, if you're paying attention in the PPT, achievement orientation, talk about showcase evidences of that, or evidences of your problem solving skill sets, or evidence of your innovative or entrepreneurial mindsets, or evidences of your leadership mindset. I'm not expecting people here to be top notch leaders or CEOs or per se, but at least have you been able to motivate people, influence people to achieve certain outcomes? All those are stories we would like to listen to and look at in the essays and discuss with you in the interviews. So keep that in mind. Essay is a trailer for the movie that you'll be showcasing in the interview process.
All right. A lot of students were asking about, is there a breakup of admission criteria? Like for instance, IIMs, they say CAT has this much weightage, 10th marks, 12th marks. So is there any kind of breakup that ISB uses, which you
We
can
do.
share?
We do, but we don't share the breakup publicly. But
Mhm.
what I can tell you is that we don't lay undue focus on any one single parameter, be it
Mhm.
ACADS or be it your test score, and hence you'll see the wide range of people who are making it and who are also not making it to the cohort. We lay there are two. It's a very simple process. There are two components: a profile score component and an interview component. Profile score will look at your ACADS, and ACADS will specifically look at your 12th scores. We look at your undergrad degree, undergrad institution, and undergrad scores. Each of them have different varying weightages, but none of them is very high, and that becomes your academic profile. Then we look at your test score profile, and where again I already mentioned there are no cutoffs. We look at your overall scores across whatever test you have taken, and the third element is your essays, and the fourth element is your activities which you've been part of. Yeah, if you've done any internships, if you've done any activities in the college, if you're currently doing anything as part of your hobbies and so on and so forth, all this is converted into a quantitative profile score, and the cutoff is on the profile score, not on the individual parameters. We won't say less than 99 percentile, nobody comes in, or so on and so forth. Hence, you have a shot at the interview process, even if your scores on the lower side. But of course, something else has to be higher, right? And then you have the interview where you get an interview score. Both are added together to get your overall score, and that determines your chance of making it to the cohort. Hence, somebody with 96.17 also makes it to the cohort, and somebody with 99.87, I've seen who not made it to the cohort as well.
Okay. One of the students wants to know, while going through the application, I saw one recommendation needs to be provided. Could you please tell us more about it?
Yeah. So as part of the application process, you'll be required to give a letter of recommendation. It's an online letter of recommendation. You don't have to get a letterhead and get it written or scanned. So what you need to do is, as part of the form itself, we'll capture certain details, the name of the recommender, their designation, their official email ID, and you click submit on that particular section. The email is triggered to the person who you have named as a recommender. They have to click that link in the email, fill a few questions that are asked in the form. It takes around 20 minutes to fill that particular form and click submit, and the letter is received by us. So that's all that is required. Essentially, the recommendation is a validation of your skill sets from a third person perspective who knows you in a professional environment. So take recommendation from somebody who could be a professor in the university, or a supervisor in an internship, or currently a manager in your work if you have work experience. Any of them is an ideal recommender, not somebody who's a family member or somebody who's known to you very distantly. Or if you're working in an organization, take it from a supervisor, not from a CEO, because unless you work closely with the CEO, he will not be able to do justice to your recommendation or the letter questions we have asked. So that's the advice on recommendations for candidates.
All right. Akshat wants to know, can we apply for 2026 YLP cohort as well as the PGP 2027 cohort together if we are meeting the threshold eligibility criteria for both?
No, you will not be meeting the criteria for both. Either you'll meet for this one or that one. Because of PGP YL, you should not have more than 2 years of work experience as on 15th of June. For PGP, you should have at least 2 years as on 31st of March. So you'll not be meeting for both. You'll be meeting for either YL or PGP. You can apply to either of them with whatever suits you, but not both together because you will not meet the criteria.
Right. Rupali Shah is asking us, can we expect outside India roles for PGP YL graduates, foreign placements essentially?
Definitely, we can expect. So if you look at the current placements which happen for PGP, while doesn't have a record for final placements yet. It will happen next December. But if you look at our PGP placements for the current year, I can give you the numbers. But we had a lot of international placements right from the campus. For the last year's cohort, I can give the numbers. We had 46 international offers from the campus itself. 46 people got placed in companies abroad, mainly in UK, Middle East, Southeast Asia, a couple in Europe, and so on and so forth. US, it's a bit difficult for now, but a lot of people, what they do is, after getting recruited in Indian organizations or Indian arms of MNCs for 6-7 months working here, then they make a transition to other offices in the world. For example, McKinsey, when they hire you, they may hire you initially for the India office, and then they put you in Middle East or US or UK and so on and so forth. But right out of the campus, you can definitely expect international offers. How many where that is still are not out there because we don't have a record of that. But for PGP we do. So no way PGP YL won't have that chance as well.
So another participant wants to know the breakup between engineers and non-engineers in the first PGP YL batch, if you have it.
We have I have a rough idea. 53% engineers, 47% non-engineers.
All right. The next question is from Rupali. She says, for merit-based scholarships, they would be shortlisted based on quantitative score-based or profile plus interview. And is the interview separately for that?
No, profile plus interview will be shortlisted. And then if you're shortlisted for scholarships, you will definitely get the scholarship. The interview for scholarship is for the quantum of scholarship. So once you're shortlisted for the scholarship interview, you can expect at least a 25% waiver. Depending upon your interview performance of scholarship, it can go higher as well.
So when do these students come to know that they have got a scholarship opportunity?
So along with the offer, when we release the offer, you will be also be intimated that you will have to attend a scholarship interview, which is actually a confirmation that you have some scholarship or other. And depending on the interview, which happens in a week's time after the offer, you'll be intimated before the deadline date to accept the offers that you have got so much quantum of scholarship. So idea is that you know what you're getting before you accept the offer.
All right. Bharadwaj has an interesting question. He says, "Hello, sir. Is there any difference in terms of rounds? Is there any particular advantage that round one people might have against round two?"
See, we ensure that the rounds are equal. How we do that? We ensure that through cutoff based system. We don't have a fixed quota of seats for round one or round two. We have a cutoff system where we define a cutoff at the beginning of the year, and the cutoff remains the same for both the rounds. And hence, we adjust the cutoff in such a way that both the rounds will have equal chance of getting in. Now, it also depends on the quantum of people applying in a particular round. So selectivity may be different for different rounds, but the cutoff remains the same. As long as you meet that cutoff, you'll be getting an offer. Is what I can tell you.
All right. Another student wants to know if there is any kind of bank tie-ups to get education loan at ISB.
Yes, we have types with all Indian international banks. So we have types with all the PSU banks. We have an SBA branch on campus, Central Bank of India branch in Mohali campus. We have types with Bank of Baroda Bank. It's all there in the website on our financial section. We have bank types with HDFC, ICICI, Avance Financial, for international students with Prodigy Finance as well. Now, what we have observed over the course of last a few years is that the PSU banks give the best interest in terms for students. So SBI, Bank of Baroda, Central Bank, these are the banks which you should approach first. And we have seen that people also prefer to take it from their own branches in their own cities because it makes it convenient for them. A lot of people prefer to take it from the campus branch, SBI, which gives a lot of special offers to our students. But whatever bank you choose, you will get the best rate and best terms. What I can guarantee you, up to 50 lakhs, there's no collateral or co-borrower or co-signer required for a loan for PGP or PGP YL offer letter.
So another student is asking that she had applied for round one, and can she again apply for round two also is the question.
You can only apply once in a year because that's essentially one application cycle.
Right.
Rounds are only for the ease of processing the application. So you can apply only once in a year.
Rupali wants to know if there is any estimated CTC figures that you are expecting for final placements.
Okay. See,
What she can.
yeah. So summer placements are an indication of your, final placements as well. So if you look at the summer placement figures for the PGP while cohort that we have currently on the campus, they got 175 plus offers for 130 people that we have. All the top organizations which hire from PGP and also from other colleges hired from ISB. In spite of this being the first year for the this thing, so we had MBBs coming in, making significant number of offers to our students. The tier one consulting firms made another offers. We had companies like HLL, Wakefit, Dabur, and others offering in marketing, Axis Bank, Sorin Investments, Jeffries, and others offering in finance. And the annual average summer internship package for 2 months was 3.2 lakhs a year. And that's considering the fact that we don't have people with more than 2 years of work experience in the cohort. So this is, I think, at par with any other B school currently in India in terms of summer internship. So we'll have final placement figures also at par with any other top B school in India.
All right. Another
If not
student
more.
wants. Right. Another student wants to know that she has not applied for GMAT. Is it possible to apply for PGPYL and then take GMAT? What is the cutoff by when she should take GMAT?
No, you need to have a GMAT or GRE score in hand if you are applying through those. For CAT results are already out, so you can apply without a CAT scorecard also. We could have done that through the reg number and we get the scores directly from the CAT body. For GMAT and GRE, the test should be taken no later than 22nd of February. You can take the test on the deadline day, but not beyond that.
All right. Rupali would like to know if she gets selected, what's the first installment that she needs to pay in ISB as a commitment fee?
Yeah. So as part of the fee process, there's an acceptance fee. So once you are selected, within the next 20 days or so, or 15, 20 days, you'll be required to pay a fee of 2 lakh plus GST approximately to as a acceptance fee. And then there's a commitment fee of another 2.5 lakhs that you're required to pay for as a commitment fee. And then you get to pay in installments, 2 or 3 installments. That will be mentioned clearly in your offer letter. It differs from year to year, but that's roughly what you can expect to pay as part of the initial acceptance and commitment fee.
Sneha is asking, as far as work experience documents are concerned, what are the documents she needs to submit in order to claim work experience in application?
See, ideally, it should be a work experience letter or relieving letter from your organization. In case we understand some organizations may not be giving that if they're short stints, then we need pay slips, of last 3 months that you worked in. Most of the organization will do that. Some if you even if you don't have pay slips, then we will expect you to have bank deposits where the salary is credited in your account, or if you're freelancers or if you're other things, then contracts or payment receipts is what we'll accept. ITR in last cases, where you have no other documents. But we're very open with kind of documents. We want some documentation that you have worked there and the salary, you have been paid for that work. That is important to us.
All right. Another person is asking that he has been pursuing a startup. He has a startup of his own. Is there any kind of advantage that people like him will have in the selection process?
Definitely you'll have you look at the entrepreneurial and creative mindset. So if you had a startup, you showcase initiative, you had showcase entrepreneurial mindset, so that gives you some points in the selection process. Definitely it adds to your profile. So do mention that in the relevant section. If it's along with your undergrad, it will be part-time activity, part-time work ex, but that will definitely add some weightage to your profile.
Another student of ours, Ram Gopal, wants to know that he has got 1.5 years of experience. Although I have not held any official leadership role, will my experience during graduation have some consideration? So, in the sense that he
See,
means to say that 1.5 years of experience is not in a managerial role.
That's okay. That's perfectly fine. Because we're not expecting people to have managerial roles at this stage of your careers. What we're expecting is what you gain from that work experience: awareness of industry, awareness of working in teams, awareness of working in organizational settings. That's more important, and showcase that at this stage of your career. We're not expecting you to be leading 5, 10 people or leading even 2, 3 people at this stage. Even if you're an individual contributor, have you understood what it takes to work in an organization, what it takes to work in teams, what are the organizational structures like, what industry you operate in? All that is more important than leading a team from a work point of view. In case you have made contributions to your work, or influence people, that showcases that leadership mindset. We're not looking at leaders at this stage. We're looking at people with leadership mindset right now. So showcase that in your application.
So, as a follow-up to that, one of the students was asking, like the work ex that one acquires along with graduation, before the graduation ends, would you be accepting that as well?
Will be accepted as part-time work experience. So your full-time work experience happens after your undergrad, after the last day of your last exam, right? That's when your work ex gets start getting counted. So undergrad work ex will be counted as part-time work experience, which does not add to your work ex requirement for eligibility. So your work ex should be after. You should not have more than 2 years after the day of your graduation. In fact, for to be eligible, but it's added. You can add it to your application from the skills point of view.
Right. Another student wants to know if she has a dream of making a career in academics. Would PGPYL be a good option for her?
Sure. So PGPYL is geared towards, people working in corporates, people taking on leadership roles, people making impact in organizations, and so on and so forth. If you want to get into academia, there are a lot of other opportunities available: research associates, research fellows, and so on and so forth. But this, if you join PGPYL, this keeps your options open. If you do a PGPYL, you can also maybe work for a year or two in organizations, see if that fits you. If not, then you can opt for FPMs or other such programs which will take you to the teaching part, or RA programs. Doing PGP while at this stage will keep your options open, but it's not, I'll be honest, it's not a path towards teaching and research. It could eventually lead to it if you do a PhD and beyond. But if you that's your end goal, then I think there are other paths like RA, research fellowships and research associates, that will better suit your purpose.
So one more person is asking, like, she is working for her family business. So what kind of documents would she have to share for that?
So first is, I think the candidate should start taking salary from a family business, credit to her account. That would be a good enough documentation. Second would be any, if that is not possible, the letter by competent authority in the organization who's a non-family member certifying the roles and responsibilities in the work period, that should do. Again, any document that you submit, undergoes a third-party verification at the end of the cycle before, after you made offers. So make sure you mention whatever is your key responsibility on the document. But we'll take that document and proof of salary deposit.
All right. Another person wants to know that he is one of the co-founders in a partnership business. So what kind of documents would he require to share with you? A co-founder.
Again, bank deposits, salary slips. Yeah, bank deposits, salary slips, IT, equity, proof of equity in the business. Uh, any document. So you'll have a lot of documents certifying that you're a co-founder or an owner of the business. Anything that certifies that should be fine.
So this question is interesting. A student says he has 26 months of experience, but he still wants PGPYL instead of PGP. Would it be possible?
No, it will not be possible, unfortunately. So the cutoff is very strict into the last day, in fact. So 15th of June, you have to have less than 24 months.
All right. One last question is there any minimum percentage that the student should get in bachelor degree to be eligible for PGPYL?
No, that's the beauty of the process at ISB, for even for PGP or PGPYL. We don't have cutoffs on individual parameters. If you have a low percentage in ACADS, will always cover up in other areas. But again, it should be so low that you cannot cover up in other. For example, it can't be 50% when your average scores in your undergrad colleges around 80-85%. We also normalize scores across colleges, because there are some colleges where 60 is the highest, and let's say 50 is the median. So we'll accordingly normalize that. But if your college, you're getting 85% median and you're getting a 50, it will become very difficult for you to cover up in other areas unless you get a 100 percentile in CAT or a very high score, or other very high extra credits, something like that. So make sure that you have bare minimum level, which you can justify with your other parameters. If you're a sports person at a national level, maybe you could get it with a low score as well. But it's again a balance that you need to work on. How you balance your profile.
Right. One last question, Amit. Question is asking about how do you compare PGPYL with MIM program from some of the leading universities abroad?
Right. So, if you look at that's a very interesting question. In fact, see, in Indian context, or first of all, is that you look at the FT rankings. There are two rankings which come: FT MBA rankings, where ISB is the number one in India and number 27 in the world for the PGP program, and there's also an FT MIM rankings, right, where you'll find a lot of 2-year programs come in. The IIM Ahmedabad, the SPGens of the world, and the St. Gallen's, and so on, so forth. Now, in India, the distinction between MIM and MBA is very, very fine. The 2-year MBA program, not many people in India will know from IIMs, is actually equivalent to an MIM program. But it offers much more than what an MIM program in Europe or other places will offer. The curriculum is much more intensive, much more rigorous. It's almost equivalent to an MBA, but since it's for freshers, it comes under MIM category, right? So saying that ISB's 2-year program is equivalent to an MIM would be partially correct, partially incorrect as well, because it's in terms of the curriculum, in terms of the rigor, in terms of the things taught covered in the program, it's equivalent to an MBA. But since we take people with work with no work experience in the cohort, it will fall in the MIM category for the rankings. So when you see us being ranked 3 years on a line once with 3 batches of graduate, it will be part of FTMIM rankings. But it will be much more than what is offered in, let's say, an HEC Paris or other MIMs abroad.
I'm tempted to take one last question, Amit, and then we will wrap it up.
Please.
Uh,
I'm free. I'll take as many as you. I'll answer as many as you can.
oh,
Ask me.
that's great. That's kind of you. So Rupali wants to request you to give some tips on how should she prepare for the interviews at ISB.
Right. So interviews at ISB are more like conversations. So the interview panel will comprise of one alum and or a senior staff member or a faculty at ISB. There'll be two or three people in the panel. One of them will be an alum, one of them will be a senior faculty or senior staff member at ISB. And before the interview is essentially a qualitative evaluation of your profile. The profile score is a quantitative evaluation, while interview is a qualitative evaluation profile. So before the interview, the panel will have complete access to your profile minus the quantitative factors. So interview panel will not know what your undergrad scores were. They will not know your GMAT, GRE, or CAT score. They will not know your salaries if you're currently working, but they'll know everything else: where you studied, what was your undergrad discipline major, or what, or where you're working if you're working, which organization, what your responsibilities are, your essays, letters of recommendation, so on and so forth. And they are tasked to find three things in the interview. What are your current skill sets? What do you know currently about your discipline, about your work, about industry that you're working, and so on and so forth? What you want to do eventually, short term and long term goals, and how will PGPYL help you get there? What or an MBA help you get there? So if you can connect the dots between these three, your interview prep is done. But this will involve, incorporating your essays there, incorporating your skill sets from the LOR, which the LOR might have the kind might have written, your work, and so on and so forth. So that clarity is very important for the interview. It's all about your application. Be very thorough with whatever you mentioned in the application. If you mentioned, let's say, a particular activity, how does this add to your goal? Right, that's very important in the interview. And these are not GK based questions they'll asking you. They'll not be making you putting you under stress. They'll be having a conversation. We feel like it's a conversation about your goals. So be prepared for a conversation, deep dive in or a deep diving of your essays and your skill sets. That's all there's to interview. It sounds simple, but it will take some time to internalize those things, some reflection from your side before you come to the interview.
So as a follow-up, another student had asked that does it mean that we will not get any questions on current affairs or questions on our graduation subjects, that is academics?
Unless you have specifically mentioned a project, right? If unless you say that my hobby is geopolitics, then you may get a question on current affairs, geopolitics specifically. Unless you mention a project that this project I did and this is the savings I did as part of this project, then they might ask you those things. But nobody is going to touch upon your courses in your first year, second year, or so on and so forth. Nobody's going to ask you about who is the president of Iran or who is the president of so and so country, just out of the blue, unless it relates to something you mentioned in the application.
Right.
I have a very interesting example for this. In fact, from my own experience, so one of my known persons, a friend, was attending his interview in a top B school, and he had written in his hobbies cricket, not even playing cricket, but just cricket. The interviewer asked him, "What is it? Is it playing or cricket?" He said, "Cricket. I know everything about cricket." And he had a 20-minute interview, of which 15 minutes was on cricket, where he was asked questions ranging from what is the height of the stump, what is the weight of the ball, how do you compare Lara and Tendulkar, what are the averages of this person, that person. And believe me, he could answer everything about it. And then the next 5 minutes were easy about other things, and he got through. Right, so that's the kind of thing you might want to do. If you mention something in the application, let's say playing a guitar or singing, be prepared to even sing a song. They might ask you, the panel, "Oh, you sing? Let's sing a song for us." You can't then hesitate at the time. So whatever you mention, be prepared for it. That's the ISB interview, application oriented, application based. No, nothing will be out of syllabus and like that. Tell me this or putting you on stress. But whatever you mention, be prepared to talk about it.
Right. As a follow-up, another student wants to know, is there any other rounds that ISB will conduct? Group discussion, essay writing, or extempore and stuff during the selection
No.
process?
So we have, on the day of the interview, we'll have on the spot essay writing, which is equivalent to, just testing your basic writing skills. While the essays in the application are more a test of your content, this is more a test of your how you structure your thoughts within a short period of time. We'll be given 30 minutes to write a 200-word essay on a topic, which are general topics. That's something you'll have to undergo right before the interview. So interview is a 2-hour process where 30 minutes is your the written test, and then your 13 minutes of interview, and that's all.
Another person wants to know if the quality of undergrad college, will it also make a difference?
It will
Or
make a slight difference. See, why I'll tell you. Uh, See, if somebody is, let's say, from IIT, he's getting a 70%, and somebody's from let's say, one step below college, and he's getting a 90%, more or less will be equal. Why? Because somebody who's from IIT has taken some efforts to get into a college which is difficult to get into, and he should be given certain consideration for that particular effort that he has done. But after that, it depends upon what you have done in the college. That also has some weightage. So if you are from a top college, you'll have some weightage which is given to. It's not unduly high, but there is some impact. But it's not something which cannot be covered up by other students.
all right, fair enough. Uh, okay, a couple of students have thanked you for the cricket example. They said it gives them a lot of clarity. Rupali wants to know if someone has done professional courses like chartered accountancy or CFA, insurance, and so on and so forth. Can they also expect questions related to that particular professional qualification, and will it add value to the chances?
It definitely adds value, and they can expect some courses, not theoretical, maybe application based courses from that, depending on what they have showcased there. So they can expect. So expect application based courses rather than theoretical knowledge per se. Theoretical knowledge, you can always, in the age of AI, you can always get know that. But how do you apply that knowledge? I think that questions might be asked.
Abhay wants to know timeline of the entire process till the college starts.
Sure. So, round two deadline is February 22nd. We'll take a couple of weeks to, verify your application, mark them complete, and ensure that you have opportunities to complete those applications if something is missing in your applications. And we'll start the interview process by around second week of March. Uh, Interviews will go on for around, let's say, 3 weeks. By April 1st, we should have all the interviews done. And by mid of April or end of April, we'll have the results in place. And by June 25th, we start the classes.
So when you say results are released, that is both for round one, round two, everybody at
Round one will
one
be a bit
go?
earlier. Round one will be a
Okay.
bit earlier. Round one will be by March end. Round two will be by April end, May first week roughly. Depending
Okay.
upon the interview, because interviews are conducted in 4 or 5 cities, and we travel to those cities on weekends. They're done on weekends, so that maximum people can be part of those interviews, and also LMs can be part of those interviews, and then we release the results once the interviews are done.
All right. Another student is asking, what was the waitlist movement last year for PGPYL? That means.
Last year was the inaugural batch. We had lesser number of seats, so waitlist movement was minimal. I would say very few people made it from the waitlist. This year we have a marginally higher number of seats, 160. So let's see how it pans out.
Puneet is asking if someone wants to apply through GMAT Focus Edition score, do they need to submit analytical writing assessment score too?
No, not required.
Okay. All right. Uh, Ram Gopal wants to know, can you share an example of a stellar profile that was selected? I mean, what kind of profiles usually get selected? That's the question
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah, right. So that's a very difficult question because we don't have one profile, one ideal example of profile, right? See, people at ISB are very diverse. Somebody could have a high GMAT, somebody could have higher CAT, somebody could be coming from a different background. So we have people who came from the medical profession, people who came from the arts profession. We have, of course, we had 53% engineers as the biggest chunk. But it's all about balancing your profile and what you bring to the table. So in that sense, every person is unique and has their own strengths and weaknesses, right? It's about how you portray your strengths well and how well you're able to cover up your weaknesses. That matters more in the selection process. And we don't compare people that this is the kind of profile we have, a persona, that this is a person who should take. Because that's not the idea. Idea is to have diverse pool of people. So when we do the evaluation, it's purely on numbers. We have your quantitative score, then we have the interview scores, which is a qualitative evaluation, and we don't look at that who is coming in. There's a cutoff set, and anybody above the cutoff makes it to the cohort. So that's how it is. It's not about one particular kind of person. It's more about how you bring your table. You could be a person with great academics And that's an achievement orientation, right? You have achieved something through consistent rigor in academics. Or you could be a sports person who has achieved a pinnacle of sports at a national level or at some level. That is also another level of achievement orientation. So there are no one set, mold for an ISB person, student.
One more question is, how do you compare GRE performance with GMAT, CAT performance? How do you weigh them against each other? And he also wants to know what's the cutoff for GRE? What's the good score in GRE for ISB?
Right. So I'll take the good score. See, again, the score depends on your overall profile parameters. Last year, somebody with 319 was in the class for GRE. Uh, CAT and others I've mentioned, 96.17 was in the class. As expected, bulk of the students or quite a few students were more number of students were through CAT in the cohort. How do we convert CAT, GRE, and GMAT? We look at the percentiles and the relative applicant pools through those respective tests. So if you have a significant applicant pool, which we do have from both all the three tests, we look at the relative percentiles of those three tests and accordingly convert them into each other.
Another
Comparable
interesting,
species. Yeah.
Another interesting question that has come is round one and round two. Is there any fixed number that you take from round one and then from round
No,
two?
no, we don't take a fixed number because we look at cutoffs. We know that there are going to be good people in round two as well. So we set the cutoff in such a way that people in both the rounds have an equal chance of getting into the cohort. So the cutoff can come down through waitlist movement, but it not go up. That's the idea behind setting the cutoff in round one. And hence there's no fixed seat. You might have lesser people sometimes in round one, and then more people come in through waitlist in round one and then round two, depending on how the pool pans out.
So Anuj has a very interesting situation. He has got 728 days of experience, which is 4 or 5 days less than 2 years. But in CAD application form, it is shown as 2 years because they go by the months, round of the months. So he's asking, is he eligible for PGPYL?
He is eligible. As long as he is even 1 day less than 2 years, he's eligible for ISB.
Even though the CAD form will show 2 years.
That's okay. That's
right,
okay.
right. Rupali wants to know any profile points we should highlight while discussing in interview conversations with the panel.
Again, profile points, it's for you to decide what you think are your strong points, right? And that's something you have to work out much prior and then play to those strengths. So the questions will be designed in such a way to bring out your strong points. Make sure you take the cues from the interviewer and answer those questions in those ways. So interviewers there are not looking at seeing you fail, but they want to bring out the best in you in the interview. Believe me, that's how an ISB interview happens. I have observed quite a few of them. So make sure that you take the cues from the interviewer and bring out your strong points. They'll give you n number of opportunities to talk about those strong points. In case you fail to take those cues and are not able to talk, then maybe you might. It's more about a test interview taking techniques that you need to look at.
So Amit, I guess we have ended up answering all the questions that we received from the students. You have been very patient and you have given a lot of valuable insight to the students. We would like to thank you for that. And students, I hope you got a complete insight into ISB PGPYL program. So if you are aspiring to join a 2-year MBA program from a globally renowned institute like ISB, you can go ahead and you can apply to them. So on behalf of everybody at Time, Amit, thanks for joining us and helping us out with the session as such.
Thank you, Asim. It was a pleasure to be here, and always a very pleasure to talk to students and answer the queries. Happy to have been here on this platform, and thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, Andrila.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrila also. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. And thank you for joining us for